Hello, everybody. It is Teany Hidalgo with your Purpose with Passion interview series. How is everyone doing? I have a special guest today, Roni Diaz. Say hello.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
Yay. Happy Thursday. Oh, my God. It was such a gorgeous day today. I don't know if it's as beautiful where you are. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Missouri right now, and it was so beautiful because it was raining and cloudy. And
Ooh.
yes, I love the rain. So it was beautiful,
Ooh.
like rain, like
I love the rain.
yeah.
I don't know what you do. I want to know what you do, but I love to write. Like I feel so inspired whenever it rains. What do you do?
When I get downloads.
Ooh.
Yes, I
Well,
get a
yes, in
lot.
writing. I get them in writing. Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
yes. Journaling is the
Yes.
perfect way to do the downloadings. And did you know the rain? It's like fiber optic in the spiritual world. So the water conducts all the messages. Like shh.
That totally makes sense. It all makes sense now. When I was younger, I used to write a lot of poetry, and the best poems came out when it was raining outside. I'm like, oh, it makes sense now.
Yes, the best connection you can make, and
Yes.
you can do it during the rainy day. So yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let me just make sure everything is working online. Okay, awesome. We are connected and ready to go. Okay, cool. So while people show up, I want to welcome everybody. It is Thursday, and this is Teany, your purpose coach. And today and every Thursday at 9 o'clock, it is your weekly dose of high vibe, forward thinking, and revolutionary content that encourages you to discover the passions that lead you to your purpose. And you know, I love to have amazing people on my show that do amazing things. And Roni, I can't wait to hear your story and to talk about it because it is one of those stories. So thank you. So thank you all for joining me. I'm really excited to have her. It's been a really long day, and this is like the highlight of my day right now. Thank you.
Aw, that is so sweet.
It's all true. It's all true. So thank you guys for joining. Before I give you an intro to who she is, I want to tell you guys to make sure that you write in the comments below if you have any questions, if you have any insights, if you get any downloads. It's actually been raining on and off here. So if you guys feel inspired to ask any questions or to say anything that you've realized, please feel free to write below. All right, so that said, I want to give a quick intro to who Roni is. So she is the founder of Roni Diaz, a 146K large Facebook group and community that gathers people from all over Latin America and Spain and US as well. She also has a YouTube TV show called Roni TV. And the purpose of both is really to teach spirituality combined with practical uses of personal development practices, which I absolutely love because you guys know I love talking about all this stuff that kind of inspires and kind of you can use on your everyday, right? So that's what Roni does. The main awareness in each of her lessons ends with a Somos Humanos Unidos, which means we are a united human beings. A message really to end racism and learn to be an inclusive continent without borders and showing kindness and loving each other. So I love the purpose that you have and the sentiment behind it. And I'm such a big supporter of what you're doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Did I miss anything? Do you want to say anything else before we start grilling you?
That was perfect. More than perfect. Yes.
Okay, awesome. I feel like we should do a version of this in Spanish, at some point. So we will.
That will be awesome. Yes.
Yes.
That will be nice.
We will do it. We'll make a plan. I actually haven't done any Spanish yet, so maybe you'll be the first. I'm excited about that.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, all right, let's get into the meat of this. So I want you to start with your journey, because I know that you created this amazing and huge group of people who are really inspired to learn from you and, who are really, ready for their next phase, right? Like everybody is kind of in a different path in their lives, but, people come along like yourself and I like to thank myself as well, who, bring things up for them, who inspire them with thoughts, techniques, tools, things like that really help them incorporate things that help them grow in their everyday life. So I want to know how the heck you got into this field and how you managed to grow this huge community of people who want to do the same.
Wow. That is so interesting question because for years I was trying to find my life purpose. What's my life purpose? What's my life purpose? For years. And I couldn't find it. It took me so long. But this is one thing that I learned. After so many years, you learn that when you do something that doesn't make sense to the rest of the people, that means you're doing the right thing. You're in the right path.
So it's funny because they say that when you have haters, you've made it, right? The other piece.
Yeah, imagine when 146,000 people, I do have trolls in my community, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, this is very interesting how I end up building this community because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just, the only thing that I was present to me is that I had so much love in my heart. It was painful. My heart chakra was hurting so much. And it was this non-stop crying because I had so much love and I didn't know what to do with it. So out of the blue, I started in this, I took a course of community building without any end game. It was just, I signed up. I just did it. I don't know why. And in less than a year, I had already 100,000 people following me.
Wow.
If you ask me how I did it, it's like, I have no idea because I was just following whatever was inside of me. And I started doing these videos. Why? I have no idea. What was the purpose of it? Just share love and love and love and all my experiences, teach them. Say it's like, hey, you're not alone. There's a crazy lady here that it's going through similar things that you're going through. And it's like, I said united. Yeah, getting people united. And yeah.
Well, you know what they say? People like Mother Teresa, for example, Gandhi, people who were vibrating and their frequency was super high because they have all this love to give. So people like you are similar, right? Where you have all this love and all this knowledge and all this, sort of support that you want to offer these community of people, or eventually became a community, but these people who are out there who are looking, right? So here you come along.
Yes.
And it's what they were looking for. So I'm not surprised. Yes, they found what they needed.
Mm-hmm. And I had no idea why I started the community. I had no idea why I started doing the videos. I had nothing. It was just divine guided.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then, because I know you're saying that, it was divinely guided. And I totally believe that that's absolutely true. But everybody has a story.
Yes. And let me tell you one thing. I didn't realize my community was in my divine path until a few months ago. So I've been in this community. I had this community for 3 years. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together until a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. I had the answer like here and I couldn't see it. Because I was going through my evolution, which is what I'm teaching right now. It's the process that I went through, and it's the teaching lessons that I'm telling them to discover the truth when you have the truth in front of you and you cannot see it because you have so many things. And it's like it's a whole process that it's like, oh, thank you, thank you for my karma, thank you.
So with, going into whatever detail you want, have you been able to relay some of the pieces of your backstory to the people that are part of your community so that they can relate to your personal story?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So if you would like, what were the themes in your personal background story that you became like kind of pivotal in the stories that you're telling your community now? Like what kind of things?
Yes, basically it's 100% spirituality.
Yeah.
It was, I started my first spiritual experience, it's when I was 10 days old.
Wow.
And since then, you can imagine my childhood was so strange. So strange. And I mean, my life is very strange, but it that was the main thing, is to tell people, don't be scared, this thing, let them be. And it was like a comfort for them, because in the culture and the traditions, they don't look to spirituality to the first answer to things that happens, like the
Right.
it people sometimes, especially in Latin America, they don't see spirituality as something that you teach your kids, or something you talk about like openly. So there was
Well,
this.
and a lot of it is fear based, right? So
Absolutely, yes.
yeah.
They first thing they do, it's like, that's, you're the devil. Yeah, those are the things that it's like they fear things that they don't understand. So I created this space where it's like you can talk about all these things. Open your heart, open your mind, and this is the right place. And I started doing the videos so they could feel comfortable with all the experiences and the awakenings they're they were going through. And
Yeah.
oh, okay, so I'm not crazy, I'm not schizophrenic, I'm
Right.
not. Yes, yes. There were some very, very interesting cases with some people that reach out to me and say like, "Wow, I thought that I was in the verge of killing myself because I thought that I was a schizophrenic," and things like that. And it's like, wow,
Wow.
yes. So it's,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Crazy.
yes. And now they understand themselves. They respect their process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what kind of work were you doing before you turned to this path of like helping and inspiring people with this particular area of spirituality? Like, what kind of, because I always feel like everybody has a journey. For me, I've had like almost various careers and various pivot points, right? Like, what were your pivot points, whatever you're willing to share, like that moved you forward to reach this point?
Um, Believe it or not, I was a wedding planner for 10 years. I had my own company.
I could believe that. You're very like peppy and like upbeat.
Yeah, so I was a wedding planner. So everything started like at the end of my 10 years of being a wedding planner. That's where my heart chakra started to grow, and it's like, yes, I'm celebrating love. I was not making weddings, I was celebrating love and uniting two different
Yeah.
families together. So that was my point of view of why I was doing weddings, because everything got to do with love. Always love, always love. So
Beautifully said, by the way. I love that. Uniting families, and celebrating love. I love that.
yeah, so the whole celebration was around love. So my heart chakra was like I started with my heart, my chest pain with that, and it's like at the end of the day, like alone in my room, it's like, okay, I've been surrounded by people, surrounded by love all day long, and it's like, what else is there? What else is there?
Yeah.
So I took a course to be a Dharma coach, which is like helping people to find their purpose in life. Ironically,
Yeah.
I was I
You,
was like,
you weren't good at it? What do you mean?
yes, oh my god, it was fun, but still I had this empty space in my heart. It's like, yes,
Mm,
I'm giving love, but it was love to one person at a time, and it wasn't enough. It was like a whole bunch of love, and one little part is like, okay, I'm gonna oversaturate you with love at this point, but what about the rest? I felt like I belonged to the world, not to just one client at a time. You know,
I love that.
it's like, oh my god, I'm a citizen of everywhere. You know?
I love that. You're a
Yeah.
citizen of the people, of all the people.
Yes, it's like I don't have a nationality. I have I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I turned to that, and I didn't like it. I started feeling this anxiety for uh every time I start coaching. It's like, no, it's not for me because I feel anxiety. This is not the right path. So after that, I start doing events again, but it was not fulfilling at all because I was behind the scenes.
Hmm.
I was making sure somebody else on stage was doing his life purpose, and I was shutting down myself back behind the scenes.
Right.
So after that, I just, and while I was doing that, I started the community. Like I said, like, I don't know why, but I started the community. And that took me to, I don't know, I was in a jewelry store, working at a jewelry store. And then I was working at a, like, things like
Like odd jobs.
odd jobs, exactly. But it was at the end, it was like, no, no, it's something else. It's like, yeah, like you see the picture of the globe, and it's like, yes, that's where I'm supposed to be, but all over.
I don't know what yet, but I know I'm going to be out there, right?
Exactly, exactly, without knowing. Yes.
Okay, so here's a question, because like I said, I have found that when I had my journey, I felt like all the different pieces of the things that I was doing still contributed to me figuring out what I was going to do. So you being in jewelry, you being in event planning and, wedding planning, you being behind the scenes of these events, like, what do you feel that taught you? Because I feel like a lot of people get stuck, right? They get stuck in those places and they're like, okay, well, I know this isn't for me, but what am I supposed to do with all of this train of things that I've done, right?
Yes, and actually it's funny because my journey, it was through life experiences that took me here. It
Right.
wasn't through work or through being in working. It was through uh, experiences in life that
Right.
dragged me to where I am right now. So it's like, yes, when I was at the jewelry store, I was thinking, yes, I am here next to the gems, next to the diamonds, and I'm gonna get all that energy and all that, like, to help me with my vibration. And I was thinking, like, not like this sapphire. No, I was thinking about the energy of the sapphire. Like, oh wow, I can,
The crystals.
the crystal, exactly, all the crystals and everything. So I would do all those things behind the scene. Again, behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's yeah, I think it's depends of, you can have any normal experience in life, but it's how you see it, the experience you want to have from that specific event or that specific
Right.
thing that you're doing.
And it's also your interpretation, right? Because you were working for a jewelry store, but you weren't looking at the jewelry, you were looking at the crystals and how they affect you and, like, what you can do with them, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Okay. So, let's see. So I know you started talking about, like, you were receiving, like, signs, right? Because you were basically an open vessel, like your heart was very open. So what kind of, like, signs and synchronicities did you see coming along for you as you moved to the place where you are now? Like, how did you, get in, like, what triggered you to, have that group of people, that community? What triggered you to start that, for example?
For example, okay, actually, Wow, now that you're asking me that, I think everything started because I started channeling a book. I started writing a book.
Ah.
So it was through the first book that it's like, okay, and who's going to read this? And that book um, opened so many like new perspectives and new things like, wow. And I didn't understand a thing that I was writing.
Interesting.
There were new concepts, new things that I had no idea what I was doing. So I kept writing the chapters and chapters and chapters and chapters, but I had no idea what I was talking about. And I was very insecure with my spirituality because in my family, I had the opposites. My dad, he was, yes, yes, you inherit my gifts. And on the other side, my mom was like, don't you dare talk about all that in public.
Mm.
So I was between the two of them. My dad used to call me my little oracle, and and my mom, she was like, if you talk about that, you, uh.
Which is ironic because she married him, right?
Yeah, I know. So she was like,
Explain that one, mom.
yeah, I know, right? And she was like, you cannot talk about this to anyone. So it was like I was in the middle of both of them. So in my spirituality, I was so um, afraid of talking about it and saying about it. So when I started writing the book, it's like, how am I going to talk about things that I'm not supposed to talk about in public? Because good girls don't talk about spirituality.
Right.
So
Which
that's,
is interesting because obviously I'm Latina as well, and it is fear based, right?
yes,
But when things go wrong, where do they turn? To church and God, right?
yes.
So it's just like really interesting, and I'm sure you had a similar experience, right? Like, don't talk about it, but if things go wrong, go pray, go to church and pray.
Well, actually, my family, it was very spiritual. We started meditating when I was 3 years old. So since
Wow,
I was
you guys were ahead.
yes, we were like, we had like very spiritual life. But on my mom's point of view, you don't talk about that in public.
Ah,
You can develop and practice in private with the family, not outside.
right.
So probably now that I'm talking about that out loud, that I think that's what took me to do the community to say like, I'm out of the closet. You can come out of the closet too. It's okay to talk about spirituality. It's okay to be yourself.
Yeah, which actually makes sense with the trajectory you were talking about, because if spirituality was really hidden, it would make sense that you would have careers that made you hide, right? You were
Yes.
behind the scenes as a wedding planner. You were behind the scenes at the other events that you helped with. Everything was covert operation style
Yes, exactly.
until your community, which in a way you're also behind the scenes, but still front facing because you're not necessarily like in person because so you're not necessarily live, but you're live to them in the community in the space that's safe now, right?
Yes, yes. And actually now I do videos.
Yeah.
Um, that's how I teach them. And the way that I sometimes I do videos, you have your theme and then you have like your points and and I end up channeling in live
Yeah.
while I'm doing the videos. And it's like, if you would say like 10 years ago that you were going to channel live in videos with 146,000 people watching you, it was going to be like, no.
So for those that don't know, let's talk about channeling a little bit because some people don't know what that is, and
Oh,
I'm sure everybody has heard some extent to what it is, but let's talk a little bit about it. So it's inspired.
yes.
It comes from the other side or wherever, from guides, from angels, from whatever you are open to at the time, and it can be shown in through books, right? Through writing, through verbal communication. Like what else? What else have you done?
Um, Visions
Right.
through, like
Hearing things as well.
hearing, seeing, writing, speaking.
Yep.
Yes, and that's basically when you're channeling. Yes.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because
Okay.
you're telling a message
Right.
to
Receiving and conveying the message. Yep.
hmm
Absolutely. Okay. So any other signs? Like what do you think people should look for as they, pursue their journey? Like what kind of, synchronicities and signs have you experienced and have you heard like your community experience as they went through their life journey?
Wow,
So many, I'm sure.
so many synchronicities, so
Yeah.
many. Yes, and um, wow, it's like life gives you all kinds of synchronicities, and you know something. Sometimes it's like even something as simple as seeing in the like the 111 or 1111
The
or
numbers.
222, the numbers, the synchronicity with the numbers, the synchronicity with nature, the synchronicity with the animals, the eagles, the everything. Yes, it's like um I was like 4 months ago, I was in one of the lowest points of my life. Like I hit the ground, and when I thought that I couldn't go lower, I went lower, and I was dragged.
Mm,
And the synchronicities that I had, I drove across the country, and the synchronicities during my trip, that's what kept me going, which was a couple of eagles from state to state. I'm not gonna say they were the same eagles, but when I drove from um, Washington State all the way down to Missouri, it was
wow.
winter time. It was snowstorms and rain and all kind of wind, everything across the country. To my dearest, with my dearest friend Sarah, and I was driving by myself all the way down, um, and all the time I had the synchronicity in my car. Like every time, every hour, it was 222, and I was driving, and I would look at it, and there were two eagles when I started the trip. There were two eagles, and then it disappeared on the route, and then I went to the other, like a few hours later, I will see another couple of eagles, and some of them, they were standing like on the wires next to the on the road. Some of them, they were like flying around my car, some of them like in front of my car, and it was like,
Wow.
wow, all the way down.
That's rare.
It is so rare. When do you see eagle like standing like eye level, where you're like, they
Yeah.
don't fly that low,
No.
and especially not on the side of the road where there's like trucks and all that stuff. So it was that's one of the huge synchronicities that I had like lately, and it's like so vivid that I knew I was well taken care of, that it was meant to be for me to be in here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I
So yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, along with signs, I mean, also from personal experience, like, you know, synchronized meetings with certain people, you feeling things like, and then suddenly you receive an email that of something really great happening. Like, there's a lot of that stuff happening. Like, if we're thinking practical, right? Like, yes, I see the numbers as well. I see animals and things have happened to me too. Actually, I had one, like, actually recently, a month ago. I was driving my car and I was like in a super high, happy mode. And literally in that same moment, a flock of birds came on my car.
Oh, no
A
way.
flock. And it wasn't one, it was like 15, 10, 15
Wow.
birds
Wow.
landed on my car and then like flew away. Like, I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, That's your vibration. You're attracting that.
Right.
Yes, so
But
beautiful.
that's the key, right? Like your
Yeah,
vibration is everything.
it
Your
is.
energy is everything. What you're thinking and feeling at any given time is everything, and that's what you're going to attract. The
Exactly.
synchronicity with people, the events, the birds, the numbers, like everything is
Yes, and
attracted. Hmm.
yeah, and being at the right time with the right people in the
Correct.
right moment. I mean, like in the right place. Like everything, it's like, wow, if I would plan this, it would be that perfect. Or yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Crazy things happen.
Yeah.
All right. So, who would you say has helped you along in your journey? Like, have there been people that inspired you, that pushed you, that supported you along? Like, who are those people?
Huh. Well, um, first, my dad. He, since I was a baby, he knew that there was something different about me. So he was very, very helpful
Yeah.
with me, and he watched all over me all the time. Even when he died
Mm.
a few years ago, and still he's still looking after me. And an aunt that she was my first spiritual guide, and she taught me so much. And when she died, I helped her. I held her hand, and I helped her go through the process of dying. And she was the reincarnation of love. You would sit in front of her and you could feel the love.
Oh, that's
It
beautiful.
was beautiful. I've never met anyone else with that amazing amount of love. Um, right, my friend Sarah, she is amazing. She's been helping me so much with the whole process that I'm going through, and yes, it's amazing. Yeah, being support. It's important to be supported with people that trust
Absolutely.
you and to believe in you, and to know that to see the people that see you. Yes, and actually people that inspire me, it's Oprah and Mother
Of
Teresa.
course.
Oprah and Mother Teresa, because Oprah, she went through hell
Yeah.
with nothing, and she never gave up. And what it it inspires me about her, it's that she followed her heart, didn't care what anybody else said or think, or anybody's opinion, anything. It's like she was following her true heart, and now she is where she is, being able to do whatever she has to do in her mission because she followed her heart. For me, that's like, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
and being in television, like where everything is so corrupted, and they don't open the doors to spirituality and to being like open hearted and everything like that. So she broke through that, so the rest of us could be inspired to speak our truth without
Absolutely.
being afraid. It's like,
I
yeah,
love that word when they say unapologetic.
exactly.
She lived unapologetically authentic.
Yes.
Everything that she does comes from herself, comes from
Yeah.
her soul.
Yeah. And the other person that I really, really admire is Mother Teresa, because she started step by step. She didn't say like, I'm gonna be a nun and I'm gonna be a rebel and I'm gonna meet the Pope and I'm gonna be, and no, she didn't.
Yeah,
She started one sick little kid at a time. And it was like step by step, just following her, is again following her heart. Being
yeah,
a woman in those times inside a religion, and what she
absolutely.
built, it's amazing. So I'm very inspired for always.
Plus the amount of love. I have one of her quotes that says, there's only three things important in life: kindness, kindness, and kindness.
Yes.
And she was the epitome of that, like everything she had, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to give all your money away,
I
right?
know,
That doesn't mean just give
that's
your house.
hard. Let me think about it.
Yeah, we don't have to go that far, but
Yeah.
Giving of yourself in whatever feels the most you, authentic, loving, nurturing, and contributory, right? Like whatever that is for you, right?
Yes, yes. And the most important thing about them is that they teach with their actions. It's like 100% integrity
Yeah,
with what you are trying to tell people. It's the reflection of what you are doing and who you are. And that, I
absolutely.
think that's the most important thing, that you cannot teach something that you don't know what you're talking about. Because
Absolutely.
you read it someplace and it sounded good and you're trying to be something that you're not. So the message doesn't land
Yep,
unless you're talking your truth.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that said, in your journey of being in your true self authentically, what, you know, blocks have you experienced and you've seen other people experience typically as they
Wow,
moved along?
fear. Yeah,
So,
fear. Like you mentioned earlier,
mhm.
fear. 100% is fear. Yes, and it could translate to many things, like fear to what people are gonna think, fear that I'm gonna fail, fear that who's gonna listen to me, fear of am I crazy, fear like so many, but the base is fear, 100%.
Absolutely. It's
Yes.
probably one of the most debilitating things for people, right? Like when they want to do something, but they're afraid what people are going to say, afraid of not being liked, right? Not being seen, right? All these
Yeah.
things,
Yeah, making fun, being making fun of, and all those
right?
things. Like, and you know, like with the community, people have said so many nasty things to me, and I'm
Mm,
not. I don't let them stop me. So it's like that's your point of view. What
right.
I'm not gonna change it, and I'm gonna end up in a discussion of
I
trying
always
to
find it
convince.
interesting about communities, right? Because you're going to have your haters, like they say, right?
Oh, psh,
But
a
it's
lot.
also how, como tú te comportas, as they say in Spanish, right? It's how you react and how you carry yourself in the face of adversity, in the face of people who are not going to like you and people who are going to like you. It's like you have to carry the same integrity, right? Whether they like you or not.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's some. Yeah, yeah. There's some people that just want to like something. I have some limited time to be with people who wants my advice. I'm not gonna waste my time having an argument with somebody that just want to have a discussion or like an argument. Like no, that
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
absolutely.
Like Wayne Dyer said, it takes two to have a fight. Like
Yes.
a confrontation. So it's like good luck, goodbye.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, how have you, first of all, you didn't talk about like how you grew this community the way you have. I know in the beginning it was like, I can't believe this is happening. But now, I mean, after 10,000, 20,000, 30, I mean,
I know, right?
146,000 people. Like, there must have been a point when you were like, okay, I'm doing something right. So, what was that right thing that you were doing that inspired all these people to join you and to listen to you and to, participate?
You know something? I think it had to do with feeling comfortable to everything that I was saying.
Mm,
Because I had so many experiences in life that I was talking, that I'm still talking my truth. And everything that happens to me in my life, I share. Not that I went to have breakfast. No, 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 nothing like that. So it's like important things like um, my transition, my evolution that step by step that I'm having. I share the learning lessons to that.
right.
And actually, I stopped for almost 2 years with the community. I stopped having
Wow.
conversations with them because I was out of integrity with my personal life, and I couldn't bring the truth because I was not 100% myself. And
Right.
I mean, I would open my community, and I wanted to do a video and everything, and I felt like throwing up.
Mm.
It was like it making me physically sick
Talk
because
about a sign, right?
exactly talking about a sign that it was saying like, hey, your life it's out of integrity. You cannot talk about anything else until you get yourself together. And until I got myself together, then I'm again with my community. So
Absolutely.
yes, so I'm rebuilding it again because I had 150,000 people in 1 year. So I was away for 2 years. So now I'm at 146. But it's like
Which is still an insane amount of people.
exactly. So it's like you're back. Thank you. And it's like all those a lot of messages and a lot of things. Like it's like thank God you're back. And it's like oh Ronnie. Blah, blah, blah. So it's like it feels good to and when you are yourself, it doesn't matter um, anything else
Right.
because you're talking the truth and people can tell that people can feel it and they can actually relate to that and it's like wow it's like she's talking to me she is like exactly it's like she's watching me from a window or something it's like yeah so it's like wow like a lot of people have said like oh thank you I that's exactly what I'm going through or that's something that I always thought of but I didn't dare to ask a question or I didn't know anyone that I could ask this kind of questions and yes.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. And yeah, so like standing in your integrity, and even when you're gone, right, and you come back, if you're honest with them, like, okay, this is what happened, it kind of makes them love you more because now you're real. Like things happen to you too. Like you're not this God out there, right? That
And
nothing ever happens to, right?
yes, and that's a very good point because it's like, and I tell them, like, hey, I've been down like so many times, and it happens to all of us, and I'm not perfect, and I
Absolutely.
get pissed like anybody else. It's like, what is it that you do with all your experiences? What is it that you do with when you're angry? Or when you are upset or when you are like in this what is it that you do how do you react who are
Right.
you when you are in situations that you cannot control
Right.
yeah.
Or as I call it, when the shit hits the fan, which is my next question. What do you do, Ronnie? What do you do when the shit hits the fan? Can
Oh
I say
my
that on Facebook?
god.
You're gonna shut
Okay.
us down, Ronnie.
Well that's the important thing when a lot of when things like that happen you cannot control and they're there. You cannot hide. You cannot run because it's gonna follow you. And it's like it's there in your face. So the important thing is that who are you? I go back
Yep.
again to who are you? How do you handle that? And how do you see things like shit? This now I understand. Oh, I said a bad word. Oops.
It's okay. We're still live. We
Okay.
haven't shut it down yet.
Okay, so it's like when you say like, okay, this is happening to me, and now I learn like literally, life doesn't happen to you; it happens through you. Now I get it. Like, it's not a quote that I can say it. It's like I know how it feels. And you know something? One thing that I learned from a year ago, that it's when I was like I hit rock bottom. It's yes, you go through rough times. Yes, you go through the phases of anger, being a victim, uh, resentments. You go through those phases, and that's perfect. You don't have to make yourself wrong for that. You're
Right.
human. It's whatever you do with those feelings. How do you react to them? You stay in the hole and say like, I'm a victim, poor little old me, or you say, thank you, thank you for this lesson. Thank you. Now I get it. And if you feel like crying, sit and cry 20 hours if you feel like it.
Right.
Let it be. And one thing that I learned is to, when you're going through the biggest pain, it's up to you if you suffer or if you stay in the pain. Suffer is optional,
Right.
100% optional. And when you are in pain, I learned through the hard time, through the hard, like a rocky road, I learned that you can allow love and beauty while you are in pain. So it's like, okay, I'm in pain, and I it hurts to breathe, but at the same time, thank you universe, thank you God, thank you Tao, Buddha, whoever you want to call. Thank you for this beautiful experience that it's helping me grow and feel it, like really feel it. So you're suffering, and at the same time, you're feeling the love from the universe. So it's like, your healing is process is so fast. Yes, you have resentments, and through that process, you let go. It's like it gets to the point that it's like, do I want to waste my time thinking about resentments and thinking like poor little me, or do I want to stay in this energy of love? Do I want to stay in this, like, keep channeling and say like enjoy life, and for me enjoying life is not being happy all the time. Enjoying life, it's, you want to be sad, if you want to cry, that's fine. That's part of life, and that's being alive.
Absolutely.
Yes, like once a month, if you want to cry, cry. That's process, that's hormones, that's okay. Let it be. Let me cry. And I'm enjoying each and every moment of my life. That's being in the present. That's the clue. Being in the present. Yes.
I love that. Plus, like a lot of the things that we go through, like we can use them. People think like, oh, this stuff is just happening to me. But what if it's happening for you and the 50, 100 other people that you're going to be helping because you're experiencing this too, right?
Exactly. And it's like, okay, so I tell them, you have two options. You want to stay in the victim zone, or you want to be in the, what else is there for me?
Yep.
Which one do you want? Do you want to stay stuck, do nothing, or you want to grow and enjoy life, every each and every second of your life?
I like that one.
I know, like, Kathy,
Sign me up.
give me a ticket. Yeah. So it's like, it's an option, and it's very rewarding when you tell people, hey, you have options. Yes, happens in your life, and it's not gonna stop. But it's like, it's okay. Karma, it's beautiful. Karma, it's a blessing. It's not hell. It's the best thing you can have. Like karma, like hit me, hit me. I want to grow. I want to keep evolving. And when people see other perspective of the same old, poor little old me,
Yep.
I'm a victim, da da da. And it's like, hey, I don't have to go that route. I don't have to do what my grandmother and my great grandmother and my mother and all the women, my aunts and everybody in my life are doing. I have this option. I can do this.
Absolutely.
Yes. So when you give them options about different perspective in life, it's so rewarding.
Yeah. It's like they're owning their lives again, right? Because people don't understand that you're responsible for the good things that happen to you and the bad things that happen to you. And maybe you planned this stuff to happen to you, but that's like that's harder to understand, right? Like, how could this terrible thing have happened to me? Well, maybe that terrible thing, you're going to use that somehow, or it's going to lead you somewhere, or whatever, right?
Yeah, and the important thing is to take responsibility.
Yeah, that's a hard one for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, so it's like, yes, too, it was an option that I took. Yes, it's my responsibility. It was my responsibility that I put myself in that position, or that I allowed this to happen. And like, and you're not making yourself wrong. You're just taking the responsibility. It's like,
Absolutely.
yes, I did it. Now I learned my lesson. I'm not gonna do it again. And I'm not gonna, be under the table and start crying for 20 hours. It's like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna cry on top of the table, not on not underneath the table. Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
So let's talk about your community, because I want to know how many times you've called people on their shit. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you, obviously you've helped so many people, I'm sure, in this group, because there's so many and they're obviously inspired by what you're saying. How many times have you had to call other people on the stuff that they do and like keep them in check,
Um, one thing that I learned is that people will open their heart and their understanding more if you talk to them with compassion,
Hmm.
not making them wrong, or not making them feel bad, or not making feel anything. It's like, I get it. I understand where you're coming from, and have like this, as much love and compassion for them to understand, and like,
Kindness.
yes, so they will, and they understand better, and they understand faster when you are, when you use your empathy 100%.
Absolutely.
Yes, because it's like empathy. It's like, it's not like, okay, yes, of course you did this. It's like, for me, it could be like, wow, that's very stupid, or something like that. It's like, okay, where is this person coming from? Why would this person did that? For me, it's like obvious that but it's like, why? His dad did it. His grandpa did it. That's
Right.
why he did it.
Right. There's a history. Absolutely.
History behind it, or this person has been misunderstood his whole life, so it's a cry for help. So it's like, okay, it's not the action, it's the cry for help behind what happened.
Right.
That it's like, that's what happens.
Right.
That's, yes. But sometimes it's like, when, there's a limit, there's a fine line. And when, especially men, when they have crossed that fine line, it's like,
Mhm.
dude, you don't do that. Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter the language, it doesn't matter anything else. You're
Yeah.
out of the community. And I have banned so many people because there's some things just don't do.
Absolutely.
Human
There's
beings.
got to be respect.
Exactly. And that's one of the first things that I teach them is respect. It's love and respect. And you, yeah. So it's like, there's some limits that I do have. It's not like I'm Mother Teresa and I like, no.
Love. You get love and you get love, everybody.
Yeah. No, I have my temper.
A little bit of that too. A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but I do have my temper. I'm human. And there's some things that I do not tolerate. Do I have to work on that? Perhaps. But so far, it's been very helpful because I keep everybody like in the line. It's like, hey, this is a respectful community.
Absolutely.
You don't bring your shit here.
So what else do you teach your people? And what's the name of your community so I can post it?
Oh, It's on Facebook. It's Roni Diaz 88 because my symbol is double infinity, and there's no such thing as double infinity. So I put 88. Roni Diaz 88. You're gonna see it's yes, Roni Diaz 88. Yes, and it's Luz, Tiempo y Energía. You're gonna see there. Everything is in Spanish though. Everything is in Spanish. Light, Time, and Energy, because that was part of the book that
Absolutely.
never came out, but because I still don't.
It still might.
Yeah, I still don't understand the book, so I have no idea. Yes,
Wow.
yeah, it's very.
You channeled future stuff.
I don't know. It's very, very complex. Like seriously, some things that terms and things that I had never heard before, and it's like I don't know. Yeah. So
All good.
yeah.
So, guys, if you're interested in working with Roni and like hearing everything that she talks about in her community, definitely visit Roni Diaz 88 in her Facebook group. And I think you also have a YouTube channel and a YouTube show now, right?
Yes, it's called Roni TV.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, it's just started. I just started with that show, Roni TV.
Roni TV on YouTube.
Yes, yes, on Tuesdays at night. Yeah, next episode we're gonna talk about past lives.
Ooh.
Ooh, I know, I love
Exciting.
it is exciting. Yes, that's one of my passions, and I've been doing all those past life things for.
I love it. I'm gonna have to catch your show. So, what are like the top 3 topics that seem to be really, they start their conversation starters? Like people love to hear about them. Is it past lives? Like what else?
Yes, gifts, spiritual gifts, past lives, and the other one, it's like in general the personal development things that I bring, like the personal development part and the spiritual part. It's definitely when they hear like past lives and spiritual gifts, they go like, oh my god, give me more, juicy. This is super juicy. Yes, it's.
And I'm sure that you talk about like how can they hone those gifts, like how can they grow them, and how can you discover them, and then like all that stuff, right?
Oh yeah, how to develop them and what they're for, why people have gifts and how many gifts, and like and then that and every gifts, and yes, accepting yourself with gifts. And a lot of people they
love that.
Yeah, a lot of people they think it's a curse.
Oh my.
Their gifts are a curse because they're so powerful that they don't know what to do with them. And it's like, curse, I'm cursed because it's like, no, sweetie, you have a very beautiful gift. That's all. It's like embrace it.
It's funny because I've been an empath for forever. I never knew about it, right? And then you just wonder sometimes when you have a gift, it doesn't feel like a gift in the beginning, right? Because you're young and you're like, why do I feel everybody's stuff? I feel so emotional. And actually I channeled my emotions into poetry. That's how I got into poetry, because I was so emotional. Like all the songs would just like, they just reached me so deeply. I'm like, wow, I feel the words of this woman who's singing. I have to write about it, So thank God I had a way to channel it on paper, But for those people who are having a hard time, what do you say to them on your show?
Oh, wow. It's like endless, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages. And yes, I just tell them like, embrace them.
Yeah.
Embrace everything that you're feeling, everything that you're experiencing. They're part of you. Don't be afraid of you. Do it. Like follow, trust, just trust. It's beautiful. And the main thing about gifts is, and I make this clear, it's not about you. It's about the people that's gonna benefit, the people you're gonna help. Because the gifts are not just for me. It's for them. How are you gonna help them?
Absolutely.
How are you gonna contribute to others? How? That's the beauty of the gifts. Give.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, that's why I have the show, because it's all about being purpose driven, and being purpose driven also really deeply means contributing of yourself to a bigger purpose and a bigger cause for a reason, right?
Yes.
Because we're all here for a reason, and we all have spiritual, whether you call them spiritual gifts, or like some of us have practical gifts, right? Like all the combination of everything that you came to this earth with is for a purpose. It's there's an intention behind that, right?
Exactly.
I love that.
Yes, exactly.
So,
I
what
mean,
else do you want to say to them about this community and gifts and anything?
yes. So um I think it's like one thing that I learned in this past weeks about my community. I learned something very beautiful about my community. And it's when Venezuela was going. I've never been to Venezuela. I don't know anyone in Venezuela, but I have a lot of people from my community from Venezuela.
Yeah,
And as an empath,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
um, I was crying for 2 days in a row, like crying and crying, and like, how could these people be like going through everything they're
Oh.
going through? Yeah. So until I went like, snap out of it, Ronnie, snap out of it. What is it that you're teaching? And here you are, like, ah.
And
So
there's nothing wrong with crying.
there's that crying, and that's when I said, "Thank you for reminding me that." That's when I said, "Okay, you want to say stay here and cry, or you want to teach them about the process that you're going through and do something about Venezuela." So I did this video and asked my community to gather and to have prayers and give our love to Venezuela.
Mm,
And I had so many responses, so
that's
beautiful,
wonderful.
about like, hey, we know they're suffering and they have our support. And even in my, I didn't want to understand 100% about the two parties. And somebody there in the message, in one of the messages, said like, um, basically like, who are you, like
Whose side are you on, or something?
he kind of. And I said, like, I don't see colors, I don't see parties, I only see people in pain. And that's all that
Right.
matters to me. It doesn't, I don't want to learn about the politic friction that's going on there. I don't care. The only thing that I care, it's about giving love to all that are in pain. I don't want my judgment to block who deserves a good prayer and who doesn't. I don't care. Pain is pain. And
Yeah.
we need love.
If
Everybody.
anything, we should pray for resolution, right? Of the whole
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. And one thing that I really learned about the community is that they gathered together and they were like, yes, Ronnie, we're gonna pray for them, and we are here. And so many like messages saying like people from Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela, like or people who are outside of Venezuela, hiding because the government they're chasing them or whatever. It's like, thank you, and everybody
Yeah,
gather, and it's like, yes, they deserve our love. And that's
absolutely.
a huge lesson that I learned, that it's like you plant the seed and then somehow you start seeing like the little branches coming out. It's like,
Yeah.
yes.
And plus, when like multiple people gather together and pray together and work together, collaborate together, like that's a unity and an energy that you can like that actually works miracles. It really does.
Yes, and yes, because one thing that I notice is there's so much racism in Latin America. And it's like, if you tell somebody from Nicaragua that, hey, are you from Colombia, they go like, ew, no, are you serious?
Yeah, I know.
Like, why? No. Like, and I try to put an emphasis there. There are no borders. Like
Right.
seriously, people, there are no borders. We are one. We should come together.
Right. We
That's
have much more in common than we have different, you know?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Let's share the music. Let's
Right.
share poetry. Let's share the food, and let's share, not reject.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love that.
Mm.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing so much information about the community and the work that you're doing. Like I said, you guys can find her on Roni Diaz 88. That's her Facebook group. And you can also find her on YouTube as Roni Diaz TV.
Running the STV.
Yep, that's right. And if you want to connect with her, feel free to find her there on Facebook and YouTube. And are you on Instagram? You're on Instagram too, right?
Yes, yes, I am.
As Roni Diaz as well. So you'll find her picture there. Any other final messages you want to say to the people?
Just be love. Don't be afraid to share love. So many
Yes.
people hold back their beautiful gifts and how beautiful they are because they're afraid of sharing their love.
Yeah.
It's sad.
There
Just
you go.
laugh as loud as you can and love as much as you can.
There you go. I wrote it out for you. Be love.
Yeah.
I love that. And live without borders.
Ah, yes.
Live without borders. I love that.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you type it below and I'll get them to Roni as soon as possible and she can answer you. And if you have any questions about her community and the work that she's doing to promote love and peace and collaboration and living without borders and boundaries as human beings, feel free to follow her and comment below. Thank you guys for joining and say goodbye, Roni.
Goodbye.
I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys next week for the next installment of Purpose with Passion, encouraging you to discover the passions that will lead you to your purpose. Thank you so much for joining me, Roni. I appreciate you being on the show and sharing of yourself, sharing your experiences, you know, your pivot points, everything that you've experienced, because it's all good. It all serves the greater good and it serves us being one, as you said. I totally agree with that. So thank you for joining me. I love you. Yeah. And I love you guys for joining. And I will catch you guys on the Passionful side. See you guys soon.